Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Yami here, and in this video I will be answering the question, how was Paragus able to control Broly in both Dragon Ball Z Movie 8 and Dragon Ball Super Broly? Alright, right off the bat we know that in both versions, Broly is stronger than his father, even in his base form, especially in Super. This man Paragus was walking around as if it was the Saiyan Saga. I mean, just look at this guy, 4200. That's all he could muster up. Really. Like, 4 of these guys right here are a legitimate threat to this guy's life. Throw in a fifth and they probably pack this man up and put him in a forever box. Let alone anybody in Super. And as for the other Paragus, well, one, he's not canon, and we already know what happened to him. But all jokes aside, these guys were able to keep their sons under control and essentially use them as weapons on some president and the big red button type shit, right? This is probably the only thing that made them useful. Who am I kidding? This was the only thing that made them useful. They literally had nothing else but the ability to control their Brolys, right? Let's get right into the topic. Starting off with Super, we see that Paragus controls Broly with the use of a shock collar, as if this man Broly was a dog or something. I mean, it makes sense. This kid was born with a power level of 10,000, legitimately dwarfing his father at birth. I mean, that has to be some terrifying shit, because at any moment, Kid Broly could have introduced Paragus' teeth to the back of his throat or even knocked off his head if he was angry enough. So in a way, it makes sense on why Paragus did what he did, right? Now, as Broly got older, obviously he got stronger, you'd think that this collar would be less effective, but from later scenes in the movie, it looks as if it still works, and this is where I started to question, how is this measly dog collar able to hold back a universe buster? So after some thought and discussing with a friend, I came to the conclusion that it's not really the shocks that stopped DBS Broly. Big shocker, right?
Move this man!
Really, it's because he's mentally conditioned to know that the shocks mean calm down. We see that the collar was put on Broly as a child, and due to it being used on him at such an early age, as he grew up, he became conditioned to know that when he starts to rage out, this is essentially what's going to happen to him, and when it does, he knows to stop. Although the shocks may have inflicted pain to Broly at a younger age, the older he got, the pain became null and void, only leaving mental and probably emotional reactions to the shock. The same thing can be seen with kids that were given beatings whenever they did something wrong. As they got older, the whoopings hurt less, but the fear of being hit is still present, and that fear is what keeps them in line rather than the physical pain. Obviously, I'm not talking about the parents that overdo it, but you get the point, right? Anyways, that's pretty much all I got for DBS Broly. Oh, and another point that I forgot to mention is even Broly himself doesn't like to rage out, so I guess the collar kind of helps, and it adds to why Broly is so responsive to that collar and is able to calm down fairly quickly whenever it goes off. Moving along, now we have Z Broly, the most menacing Saiyan our Z fighters ever had displeasure in meeting. This guy is a completely different beast. Unlike Super Broly, he actually enjoys raging out. He loves fucking with people. If you ever watched, I recently watched movie 8, and this guy's an asshole. He blew up one of the slaves. He blew up the slaves' planet. Like, he was aware that they were watching the planet, wishing to go home. He picks up on that and destroys the planet. This guy's really fucked up. So he enjoys raging out. So he's like completely different than the Broly from Super. There really isn't no like mental trauma unless you want to count Kakarot crying, which makes no sense. Somebody probably has headcanon to explain it, and I'd love to hear it. But for his device that on his head, that amulet thing that controls his head, what I learned was it's a reference to, what is it? Journey to the West for the Monkey King. That's what it's supposed to be an homage to. But yeah, that device can mentally controls him. Like it's just mind control. There isn't no emotional, mental like trauma or like anything. It's literally just mind control to keep him under control. So as for Z Broly, he's just a really fucked up individual that people love. And I guess to some extent I understand, but my god, man, that guy's really fucked up.
So yeah, those are my two explanations for how Paragus was able to control Broly in both movies. If anyone has any idea on this topic, I'd like to hear it. But with that being said, thank you to any and everyone who watched this video. I hope you have a good day. Peace, deuce.